Hey guys, it's Vader, and this is part 2 of my skinning tutorial. Um, where we left off was just me explaining the the team skins basically, and I guess the custom versions. But anyway, we don't really need this anymore. Here's all the models. You have weapons as well in there, just everything in there basically. Graphics, scripts, the music in the game, sounds, but sounds are actually not here, the ones that we want. As you can see, if I remember, they have to be in assets 1 for for taunts and stuff like that, and the pain sounds and whatnot, and the deaths. But anyway, uh, so what we'd want to do here is make a new directory. I should have renamed that. You can just, you don't have to right click. Actually, you can't. Okay, never mind. What you have to do to rename a folder is just kind of not double click, not fast, because otherwise you'll open it. You just have to like select it and then don't click it on here, but like just click it just tap it and then click it again right on the name. Can't click on the folder, and then it'll be able to rename it. So we want to rename this to models. Then you go inside the models, and then we want to make another thing, or just don't click off of it and rename it properly the first time. Models, players, and then we want to put this one here. So then how it looks like is models, players, Joe, and then we've got the Kyle stuff in there. So now, basically, as you can see, these weird little icons that I have here, this is for the program that I use, which is called GIMP. It's basically like, obviously granted it doesn't have all features that Photoshop has, but you could kind of say it's like Photoshop, and it's free. So if we want to go and what should we edit the Kyle torso? So here we go. This is Kyle's torso. This is how it looks like. It looks like how when you there's a name for it. Anyway, uh, how you unravel a paper cube, and it just has the little like squares. It basically, well, you can make it in different patterns like a cross or whatever, and once you put all this up all together, then it'll make the actual skin. So basically, what we want to do here is do something, whoops, do something to this torso to make it custom, right? But here are the different things here. There's a few different select tools. Here's a rectangle select tool. So if we want to select that, and then let's say right click, and then cut, we can cut that out, and then we can edit, right click edit, and then paste. So now we just cut out and pasted his thing. And undo. This is the, as you can see, just the circular or oval select tool, but I don't have any uses for either of these. Like, I don't generally use them because it's too great of a selection. It's not very specific. It's like you're just stuck with a circle or a square. Uh, the most that I do use is this one, which is the free select tool. And basically you can, here we can zoom in, and then you can either go by pixels or by whatever, but pixels is probably your best bet. And let's say we want to, I don't know, let's say get rid of this thing or just select it, not get rid of it, but let's just say we want to select this. So we just so this is one way of doing it. You just click once, let go, and then just keep tapping, go around the thing that you want to select. If you want to be even more precise, you could zoom in even more, but obviously the more you zoom in, the longer it becomes, and the more stuff you have to, select. And then once you're finished selecting, you go back to the first circle, and now we just selected that whole little string, whatever, and we can do whatever we want with it. We can, like I said, we can cut it, but we did that already, so we don't want to do that. So that's one way of selecting. The other way of selecting is, I'm just going to do something, I'll explain it later what I'm doing. We can just hold down the, not shift, but hold down the mouse button, and then you can do that. The reason I said shift just now was, as you can see, when I press shift, there's a little plus there. And if I press control, there's a little minus there. And it says there, right here at the bottom, click, drag to replace the current selection. Try shift, control, alt. So, oh yeah, there's also alt, but I don't really use alt. You can, oh, okay, that's how it works. Yeah, I don't use that one. All I use is just shift and control. Shift, as you can see, will add to the current selection. So that's how I was able to add it. So I can just go boop, 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 and it didn't replace the other ones. If I just do this, it replaced everything. So we don't want to do that. If I do control, I can get rid of this selection right here, and this one as well. Ta-da! So this is a good select tool. You have way more control over what you want to select, as you can see. You couldn't do this with something like this. You can't. That's way too big of a selection. Uh, the other way of selecting, which I sometimes do if I'm missing like some pixels, is it's called a fuzzy select tool, which basically, what does it say? Select a continuous region on the basis of color. Well, what happens is it'll select a color and do that. Notice all the little tiny dots everywhere. That's areas where some color is not the same, and yeah, that happens. So it's not the greatest, but you can you can uh, keep pressing it, keep clicking, and it'll get rid of the stuff. the little like unselected pixels. So it's not too bad of a tool if you want to like quickly select stuff, but for some reason, if I remember, Control Z does not want to work with this. Yeah, I don't know why. Actually, we can just undo history. There we go. And so now we're back to our thing here. So yeah, that's a handy thing. Just undo history, and then you've got a whole bunch of stuff. I think eventually it'll like overwrite the undos. So like you don't have like an unlimited undos if I remember correctly. So, but if we want it, we can just go to the base image. So the base image is what we started with first. Um, Here we can select by color. So it's a little different than this. This one actually like select a specific color. So let's say we want to zoom in really close and we want to select this particular color right here where my mouse is, this brown here. So it just selected all the browns that are that color, all the pixels that are that color. So that can be handy too if you want to like, you know, just this one color, but chances are it's gonna be like that, all messed up. Um, Scissor select tool. Select shapes using intelligent edge fitting. I don't really use this one, but this will, oops, alright. Basically this will just, yeah. And then you can, actually I'm not too sure if I've actually used this one or not. But it's, convert to a selection. Okay, so it's kind of whatever, but like, not a fan of this tool really. Doesn't really make too much sense. Uh, or I just don't really know how to use it. But you can see, you can be the judge of whether you want to use something like that. Uh, this one, foreground select. Select a region containing foreground objects. So can I show this one off? Roughly outline the object to extract. Yes. So add more strokes to press enter to accept a selection. So yeah, you can see what that does. We can just either select, roughly outline the object to extract, and then if we want to make like, oh, I guess you can't click on the thing that you just selected, but you can select more like this, I guess. Again, not something that I would really use. This is your friend. For selecting stuff, that is your friend, as you can see. Just very precise. Paths tool, create and edit paths. Again, something I don't use because really there's no need for it. Um, Click or drag to create a new anchor. Try shift. See what I mean? It's like, why would you even need something like this? Oh, hey, look, I made a thing. For what? You don't need it for skinning. It's like, if you're doing something like really, like, I have no idea, like, really advanced, but making all these curves. Not sure if they actually serve any purpose other than as guidelines to just kind of help you make a curve or something. Uh, Color picker tool. This will, well, it's pretty simple actually. Just click, 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 click. Notice this color changing here. So I can just select any color I want, doesn't matter. And of course you can zoom in if you need a specific color here in pixels. And if you want to switch it, then you can, as you can see, I just switched the thing here, and now you can go back. If you click this, it'll go back to black and white. Uh, do I need to explain that? Here you can zoom in. If you click, or not click, but if you hold down Control, it'll do a little minus. So now we just went into the original 100%, but we want to zoom in again. And again, 200. So that, you can either use that or this. Probably just easier to do this. Uh, the measure tool, measure distances and angles. Again, you're probably not going to use this, especially in so as you can see, that's not actually working. Pressing shift doesn't actually do anything. It says to add a new point. Ah, you gotta drag. Silly me. And this will tell you that it is 86 pixels from here to here. So, you're not going to be using that, trust me. Unless you want to be like super, super, super perfect with something. Uh, Here you have the move tool. Again, that's pretty self-explanatory. As you can see, we just messed that up. Alignment tool, align or arrange layers and other objects. I haven't actually used this one. Again, a lot like the other, you know what? Click to pick this layer as first item. Okay, yeah, we can't do anything with this for now. New layer. Sure. So now we just made this layer to the as the first layer, from what I can gather. was a way, I think, to look at the layers, but maybe not. New layer, new from visible, new layer. You do have to do sometimes things with layers, but usually, well, yeah, but usually not really, because you'll be like merging the layers. So like I can merge down this layer with the bottom layer, or well, let's give a better example here. Like undo add layer. Let's right click this, edit, copy, edit, paste, and then we can go ahead and move this. As you can see, we just copied it, and right now basically this is just sitting right on top. Maybe it's not actually considered a new layer. Yeah, it's not. Create a new layer and add it to the image. So now it's on a separate layer. And now if you wanted to, you could, let's say, lower layer. So now that layer is under this layer. So just something like that. But if you wanted to do this, notice that if you, well, like this, if you go over the selected item, you can move it around. But if you go outside of the selection, a little anchor will appear. So if you, well, let's move it over here. Let's make this a little bigger. So let's add it here, and then we can just, boop. It looks like there's a string there now. So we just merged it with the actual image. But we don't want to do that. Undo, undo, undo. Yes, alright. Alright. I have no idea how long this video is, so I'm going to end this part here, and we will continue in part 3. See you guys.